Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We have a big crowd on the phone, and that's really exciting because we've got some great things to talk about with ILINX 8.6. We've got over 140 features, so there's no way we can cover everything. So I'm really just going to be hitting the highlights here today. But one of the things that I wanted to mention was the fact that of these 140 or so features, over 60 of these enhancements have come from you. Recommendations, suggestions, working with our wonderful customer base to help drive where we're going as a product and what types of features you need to create these really cool solutions. So over 60 enhancements spread across 20 different of our customers, and you'll see it's really just a spreading across all of our product offerings in terms of these features. And so we're going to hit most of the areas of the products today, some a little bit more in-depth, but certainly highlight some of our new capabilities and our new products. Specifically, we're going to show some of the new ILINX Analytics and ILINX Capture Analytics products. This is a brand new for 8.6. We're going to talk about some of the capture stuff, advanced capture. I'm going to, hopefully, if we have time, I'm going to do just a real quick demo on some fixed form stuff and capture to show you how we're evolving those solutions as well. You'll see some e-forms, and then we'll talk through some of the other products. So in general, we've added some stuff, and this is just a catch-all kind of slide here for some features and things we're doing for the product in general. But so the Help Center. So we launched the Help Center, which is access to all of the product documentation a couple of releases ago. And when we first did that, some of the install guides and some of the tech guides were still delivered as PDF, but at this point we have all product documentation available on the web. Now, some of that's gated, so you would need to request an account to access things like our support metrics, matrix install guides and tech guides, but you now have access to all that 24/7, all updated. And there's an advantage here for us too, because if we notice something in the guides that we've already released, it's very easy for us to go up and change and correct that. So the next time you come up to look at that information, it's all updated. We've also enhanced the Help Center to allow you to go in and see the hot fixes that have been released. You can subscribe to receive notifications when we deliver hot fixes, and you can really peruse everything that's available and decide whether that's something that you'd want to deploy in your environment or not. We've also moved our ILINX community forum from the LinkedIn platform up to the Help Center. And so this is just some feedback we got from you that this would be more convenient, one place to talk and deal with the ILINX product platform suite, and some folks weren't involved with the LinkedIn platform. So we've moved all that up into Help Center. In general, as well, we have focused some efforts around our installation and upgrade. We've made these in-place or in-flight upgrades more robust. We have added more feedback into the process as you're going through an upgrade or going through even an installation to let you know what's going on with that process. We've automated some of the settings within the config files so that as you run your database upgrades or installs, we're taking care of doing all of that updates to those files for you. So just making that a little more streamlined. And then we've also added some REST APIs for both Capture and Content Store. And we'll get into a little bit more details here in just a minute. So let's talk about the new product. We're super excited about this. This is ILINX Analytics and ILINX Capture Analytics. Now, they're almost the same product. Let me explain quickly what the difference is. The ILINX Capture Analytics, if you were to license this product up, what you would have are analytics and dashboards for the Capture product only. Now, if you go with the full-blown ILINX Analytics, then you have access to these other sources of information you see here on this slide, including ILINX eForms, ILINX Content Store, and even reaching out into external systems to combine information into your dashboards. And these dashboards are interactive, so it allows your users to explore this information in real time, and they can download these PDFs and email them out, et cetera. And your users can access dashboards through the ILINX Flex client and through ILINX Capture. We have provided with 8.6 a point-and-click designer for these dashboards. So we've got a number of visualization widgets or display capabilities, and they include pie and donut bar charts. We've got line and area graphs as well as reporting grids. And this point-and-click designer allows you to create these layouts for these dashboards that include some number of rows and columns, and is it 30% of the width, is it 60, and you can control all that, as well as selecting some different themes for the look and feel. You can filter data based on anything that, any of the information that's coming into the dashboard. You can apply filters to each of the widgets, control legends and sizes and shapes and stuff of these individual widgets in the dashboard. And then once you've defined a dashboard, you can assign that out through your standard ILINX security groups. So that's Active Directory or built-in groups. So you may have a set of dashboards for your scan operators, a set of dashboards for your managers, and a different set of dashboards for your C-levels to come in and you know, get that visibility into your systems. And I'll show you a little demo of some of those dashboards here in just a minute. All right, let's talk about ILINX Capture. A couple of things that we're jazzed about for 8.6. We've added the ability now to do full revision control within ILINX Capture. So this would allow me to have, let's say, a Microsoft Word document that travels from queue to queue to queue and allows users to check in changes to that document as it goes through maybe an approval process. So maybe I'm working on a contracts workflow. So I can you know, start off with last year's contract, goes through some initial set of revisions, then maybe I pass that on to legal or on to accounting, and then at some point I finalize that, and then that last version of that document then becomes my contract, my record that gets sent out to my supplier and archived within Content Store or sent somewhere else. Additionally, we can now enable live annotations. So if you're familiar with Content Store, I could have an image of maybe an invoice or a contract, and I could create annotations on that are living. So if I have appropriate privileges within Content Store, I can move those around, I can hide those, I can print out a copy that doesn't have the annotations. We now have that ability within Capture, so that I can have images that have live annotations throughout that business process. We've had a smattering of productivity enhancements. There's a few listed here that you can read, really just making the user interface more user-friendly, more productive, more streamlined, and you know, making it easier for your users to get to the work they need to do and faster for them to process that. And with every release, we're always monitoring the system, we're testing the system. We have performance environments where we run hundreds of thousands of batches through our workflow and through our other products, exercising every activity within our workflow and monitoring the performance of all of that. And anytime we see an opportunity to make that performance better, even incrementally, we'll definitely take that opportunity to do that. Okay, some kind of geeky features. These are the ones that I really get jazzed about. So in the Workflow Designer, we now have a new IXM. These are the ILINX extension modules. You drag them out and place them into your workflow. We have a new one for email. So this allows me to create a correspondence event to send an email out. And I can use information from the batch. So I could, maybe if I have a batch field that has an email address, if I have the name of a customer or a supplier that's in a document field, I can use all of those pieces of information within this dynamic email template that gets sent out. So my recipients are dynamic based on the information in my workflow. The contents of my email can be dynamic based on you know, contents of my batch and contents of my document fields. And I can also include attachments. So if I'm going to send an email out, I may want to send a copy of the e-form in a PDF that that particular submitter filled out and submitted into the workflow. I can also retain a copy of that outbound email as well. So if I'm if this is has some regulatory constraints on this particular workflow or compliance, or just from an auditing perspective, I can keep a copy of every outbound email from the new email IXM. So that's super cool. We've also enhanced the barcode IXM to provide some despeckling. We've allowed minimum and maximum field criteria to search for the barcode that you're looking for. And we've also added regular expression searching. So if I'm dealing with multiple barcodes on a page, I can apply some regular expression that will help me find the exact barcode I'm looking for, and then extract additional information from that set of barcode information. We've enhanced the search and append IXM. So if you're not familiar with this, this allows you, as your batch is moving through a workflow, to look into the system at a different type of batch and push information into that batch. And so we now allow you to do that based on batch field mappings. So I can pick a batch field in my target workflow, and I can look out into the system for a completely different type of batch profile and workflow, but based on maybe an account number, maybe on a transaction ID, maybe on a customer number, maybe contract number. I can push information from one batch into that other batch, and I'm allowed to map those search criteria. So that's a very powerful feature. We've made some enhancements to the AssigneEX, database lookups, create stamps, to allow you to use more batch system fields. So in the past, you didn't have access to the full set of system fields. Now you can use basically anything that's available in the batch for those IXMs. Just add some flexibility there. We've added a new capability, and this is going to be important as we move forward and continue to evolve our analytics capabilities. There's now a check button on your batch profile that will automatically gather workflow statistics as batches move through the workflow process. So for instance, if I had an invoice processing workflow, I could turn on statistics with a single click, and the system is going to create a new table for me just for that invoice processing workflow, and it's going to capture information as every batch moves through that system. And some of this is statistical in nature, so that I know how long each batch took in each given queue in my workflow. I know what values were as they entered that workflow queue, what they were going out. So it makes it very easy for me to do some analysis on those workflows to look at productivity, look at end of month, end of year, end of quarter accruals. Whatever my business process is, this information is just very, very easy for me to go in and create reports. And like I said, in future releases, we'll make this information available through your dashboards, so that you don't have to do any custom reporting. You'll be able to report on your business information, very easy point and click through the dashboard creation process. And then I mentioned earlier that we've exposed some REST APIs for Capture and Content Store. So those are nice ways that you can integrate with Capture and Content Store for especially environments that are like not Microsoft based. So maybe if I'm writing something on iSeries in RPG, I could use the REST API. A little easier for me than our standard SOAP API. Similarly, if I'm coding in JavaScript, the REST APIs are just a little easier for me to access than our traditional SOAP APIs. So a couple little more tidbits here for the geeks. We've added a new server extension library to ILINX Capture, and this is a very powerful feature. It allows you to manage all of your workflow extensions from one single management interface. So this is really important for upgrades, or if I need to patch a server extension, either enhance or patch it, I can do it in one place, and every instance of that extension is now updated across all of my entire system. And I also, and you can see in the screenshot here, I can look at the version, quickly identify when it was created, when it was modified, so I know what's been updated, I know what the latest version is out there that's running across my entire system. So this is really huge for those of us that develop these custom server extensions. We've also enhanced the client extension framework to allow you to do some more stuff now for on the client side. Saving the current batch will now save annotations. We have also exposed all of the advanced capture properties for the batch, for the document, and for individual fields within your document up into the client extension framework. So if you want to do your own custom analysis, your own custom processing based on confidence information, the location of extracted information, whether something came back from the verification correctly, or what, you have access to all of the same pieces of information that the product has, and I'll show you some of that here in just a little bit. All right, so now to kind of wrap up Capture, just a couple of things on the Capture add-on modules for email import. We've now added the ability you can collect emails in native. So before we would always convert those into PDF or TIFF. Now you can keep the natives if you're interested. For Capture Release, we've expanded some of the source fields that you can map out. We've added Oracle Web Center 12c support, and we always are continuing to enhance our mobile and mobile SDKs. So we've got access to eForms through the iOS version, and Android is coming soon, and we continue to evolve that mobile SDK. This is an area that we're very interested in feedback and working with any of you on the phone to see what we can do for you there from a mobile perspective, because we know it's a very hot topic, has been for a while. Okay, so let's talk about the ILINX Advanced Capture and ILINX Fixed Form Capture. These are two similar but different products. We've done some webinars on the difference between these. If you got any questions, dump them in the chat. We'll talk about it after the presentation here. But we have released an out-of-the-box mortgage document processing solution. This provides out-of-the-box classification and separation of 180, 190 different document types that are typically involved in mortgage processing. This is just one of the solutions. We're going to continue to build out more and more of these types of solutions for you so that these become very easy to roll out in your organization. We've enhanced our Advanced Capture IXM that you use in your workflows to now allow you to map these document types that are coming back from Advanced Capture into a document field. So if you think about a mortgage solution that could return 20 or 30 or 40 documents within a mortgage batch, and they could be 200 different document types. If I had to create 200 different document types in Capture, that'd be quite a bit of work. So what we allow you to do is to create a single document type and map that classification value into an index field. So you could create something called document type, and then the value that comes back from the classification is simply pushed into that. So I have one document type, but yet by looking at the document, I know exactly how it was classified. We've also separated the ability to do classification verification from extraction verification. Now, you can continue to do these in the same human activity, that's fine, but this provides you the option to do your classification and verification in one step, move that on and perform your extraction in a separate step, and then do your extraction verification later in the workflow. So that's a nice, powerful feature for doing those mixed classification and extraction solutions. In terms of the installer, we now have a standalone Capture Studio installer. So we've worked with a couple of our customers that are deploying this right now, and that was just a need. We needed the ability to have their multiple developers be able to install the studio and contribute the solutions into the system. So we've done that. We've added some new updated icons, some document verification menus. There's a screenshot there, just trying to make the user interface easy to understand what's going on. So we've got one icon that represents your document classification confidence. In this case, in the screenshot, you see we've got our classification has fallen below what we've defined for this batch profile. The green icon represents our extraction confidence, and again, in this screenshot, you see that both the classification and extraction confidence have fallen below that configured level. So that gives me visual feedback that I probably need to go in there and verify the classification and verify whatever extraction had happened on that document. Okay, let's talk about Content Store. So some productivity enhancements here. We've added the ability to save view configurations as favorites. So for many releases, you've been able to create an advanced search and save that as a favorite. You can do now the same with content store views. Also, if you have set up your sorting in a specific way that you like, you reordered your columns, and you've got it just the way you like to see it, you can save that with your favorite. Now all that information is remembered as well. Very cool feature, we've added stamp annotation library capabilities to Content Store. So this allows me to create my own library, and I can use, you can see in the screenshot here, some symbols. So I could go into, Microsoft Word or wherever and create some really cool looking stamp annotations, and then save those in Content Store and apply those very, very quickly to my images. So I could just right click, I want to apply my approved stamp, boom, it's done. I want to apply my rejected stamp, boom, it's done. And I have that library available to me not only in Content Store, but also in Capture. So if I'm routing images around through Capture, I have the same set of annotation library capabilities. And your administrator can also build and provide those out to your user community as well. We've enhanced some of the administrative features, listening to you about deployments, authentication, Windows authentication for database configurations, the ability to turn on, off, user logging for search criteria. Some people want it. Some people, that opens up some potential PII or sensitive information in their logs, so they want to turn that off. And the SDK enhancements. I mentioned the REST APIs for Capture and Content Store. Same with Content Store here. These APIs will allow you to interact with Content Store and content more easily from JavaScript or from non-Windows platforms. ILINX eForms. So ILINX eForms, we released a couple of releases ago. This has been just something that's very exciting for us because it opens up a whole nother onboarding on-ramp for Capture and content. And so this is an area that we will continue to invest in. And for 8.6, we've enhanced our theming capability, our JavaScript helpers, so that you can create some really sophisticated form solutions. You see on the right, there's a very highly styled eForm. The underlying eForm is just out of the box, drag and drop, but we've applied some kind of cool styling to that, and that can be done right within the eForm theming environment. So I have a certain amount of capability through the theming editor, but I can extend that through my own custom CSS. We also have added the ability to specify the theme at runtime via the URL. So I could create one form and use it in 3 or 4 different places, but I can feed it a different theme. So it's the same underlying eForm, but it's going to look potentially completely different depending on the environment that you're invoking that through. We've enhanced the wizard. You can now place the wizard navigations on the top or the bottom of the page. You can allow the user to access random pages, so it doesn't have to be the next previous wizard style. It can just be random pages. We've enhanced some of our deployment security and allow you to embed now secure forms as well as public forms. Okay, ILINX Flex, this was another big area for 8.6 for us. We've given the application a complete makeover. So this is our HTML, 100% HTML client that provides now in 8.6 access to eForms, Capture workflows, Content Store, which it had done in previous releases, and the new analytics dashboards. And I'll give you a quick demo for that here in just a second. We've also continued to enhance our device responsiveness, so making sure that this client application works really well on a phone and that you have that appropriate responsiveness. So I'm not looking at a little bitty teeny web application. Things are hidden, things are expanded, collapsed, etc., to make that a very usable experience. And we've got some skin selections too to kind of change the look and feel. And then just wrapping it up here across the other ILINX products, we've enhanced some of the ILINX export capabilities, retention management. You can now do some between search operating on the criteria that you're using to identify your documents for numbers and dates. Email notifications are now available for any job type you configure. The ILINX Export Public Search Tool sorting, we've enhanced that so that it will honor whatever sorting you have if you're using a content store view initially. Users can, of course, click the columns and change that, but the initial sorting is based on your view. And now the sorting for the columns is actually sensitive to the data type. So if those are dates or numbers, those actually sort based on the actual data type as opposed to an alpha numeric type of sorting. And then again, as with really all of our products, we always look for performance enhancements, and ILINX Export got several different performance enhancements for 8.6. In ILINX Import, we've just added some usability features, ability to select multiple jobs and enable disable. So if you get a lot of jobs, this is kind of a nice feature. And we've expanded the maximum import file size and text links for some of those inbound content items. All right, so let's jump to the fun stuff now, and let me show you a little bit about the 8.6 product. So this is the ILINX Flex client for 8.6, and what you see here is our default homepage, and this contains some links to the new features guide. There's some links out to the individual user guides for the different products that you can now access through Flex. But you can tailor this HTML page to be whatever you want. If you want to put your own custom text, it can be a dynamic page so that it can update based on system information, announcements. You can put training videos, whatever you want in here. This is your page to customize for your ILINX users. I mentioned there's some skin options. We're going to continue to enhance our user preference capabilities, but I can click through here and change some of the look and feel that for my own personal Flex experience, and collapse and expand menus. And these types of things are very important when we get to the small form factors like a phone, being able to dynamically collapse those menus. So I've always had the ability to search applications. That's still there. All of these menu items here, you can change these. So I like content folders, I like views, I like my work items. So you can change those. Your administrator can just go in through the admin UI and change those. And so you'll start to see that a lot of the capabilities in ILINX Content Store, the traditional client, are surfaced up through now the Flex client. So checked out to me allows me just to get a quick perspective of what documents I have in the system checked out. I'm sorry, this was running on my local machine here, so it's not blazing fast. I can also access, any of the Content Store applications that I have through whatever security has been granted me. And I have the same type of advanced search capabilities that you'd find in the other clients. So I can do full text searching combined with structured searching. I can sort and manipulate this information very similar to I can in the other client. I can check out, download content, update index values. I can create new content within any of the applications. So really a very robust interaction with content. Views are the exact same. So I can, whatever view I've created in Content Store and I have access to, I can access that here in Flex. So that view didn't have any prompts. This one actually has prompts, so I can expose the ability for the user to use a view and still provide their own particular search criteria within that view. So I can open these documents in the Flex viewer and access to all of the metadata. I can add comments just like I can with the other client. And then we get to e-forms. So this is just a demo system. So I've got some goofy forms here. Some of this is just to show you, what you could do. These are this form here when it loads. It's just out of the box. I created some kind of crazy theming, I think, with this one, just to give you an idea of what you can do. No custom CSS, no custom coding. This is just point and click, uploading, different logos and backgrounds and icons, and we've got some really great enhanced column capabilities now, so I can really create a pretty cool looking form just very easily point and click. I can create traditional forms, something more like this. and very utilitarian type forms as well. So just really whatever look and feel I'm going for, it's pretty easy to do that within the eForms environment. So I can kick off any eForm that I have access to right from Flex. And of course, if you're familiar with eForms, I could do that through a portal or send that out via a URL and an email. But the cool thing in 8.6 is I can also access eForm-based workflows directly through Flex. So anything that is available to me through a view and is an eForm-enabled badge profile, I can now access directly through my Flex client. So this is really cool because now I can automate the system. And if you recall in the PowerPoint, I mentioned we have a new email IXM. So I can automate the sending out of an email to a particular user or group of users and ask for them to come in and approve something. That email they can access on their phone or a tablet, and they can come directly into ILINX Flex and access these in-flight workflows. So I can just rip through these requests, whatever this is. This is a generic transaction type thing, but I can go through this on my phone, and I can access any of the files that are attached to the batch if I need to review those for approval, and then make my changes, make my approvals or rejections right here in this eForm from my phone or tablet or desktop, and submit that on in the workflow. So we're pretty excited about this capability with 8.6. Also brand new in 8.6, of course, is the ILINX Analytics and Capture Analytics, and those dashboards are surfaced through Flex and through the Capture user interface. And so I've just thrown together some very quick example dashboards to illustrate some of the features that we have in 8.6. So you'll see as we go through a couple of these dashboards, there's a number, 7 or 8 different themes that I can choose, colors and fonts, etc. And I can hover over these and get more information about the information that's shown to me. And I'll show you what we can do with these grid controls here in just a second. So I'll show you a couple more examples here of dashboards that I just put together. This one's kind of cool. I chose to expose the actual attachment to the individual batches. So I can click on that invoice and open that up in PDF right from my dashboard. And so let me show you this report here. So this one I created, the only thing I put on here was a grid, and I said I configured it to take up the whole page. I also enabled the date filtering capability. So this is an option you can turn on or off for your users. So you could hard code something to show only dates from the last 30 days, the next 60 days, or you can allow them to do their own date filtering as well here. And I can check out just by sorting, what my approval status is for these batches that have been submitted for this time period, and I can drag and drop up to the top bar here and create some grouping, so I can easily segregate, what's been approved or what's pending, what's been approved, what's been rejected. I can do sorting on those groups. And it's probably not going to make sense here. I can group on multiple fields. Of course, the description doesn't make sense, but I also have the ability to come in here and select which columns I want to turn on and off. And if I get this report looking the way I want, I can download this, and it downloads as a PDF document that I can then send out. And it's going to give me the whole report, so not just what I see on the screen. So that's a really nice way to kind of share this information to someone who doesn't have access to the dashboard. Okay, so that's a very quick demo of Flex and the new capabilities there and some dashboard stuff. Let me switch over to and just give you a quick advanced capture demo here. Now we've done webinars in the past where we have gone through in more detail the advanced capture capabilities, but this morning I just threw together just a super quick fixed form type of solution. So I'm going to hit the scan button here. I've got a document sitting in my scanner. So this is a Colorado change of address, and this is using just handprint. So I'll submit that, and it's going to go through an advanced capture project, and it'll show up here in just a few seconds. But while we're waiting, we'll click on this one that came in from Larry. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that we have added here in 8.6. So we're enhancing the, kind of the presentation of this, the status of your classification and your extraction graphically and through some text information. So we tell you that the batch needs reviewed, and if we had done classification and that had fallen below, we would also flag that, as you saw in the screenshots earlier. And we also flag kind of what's gone wrong. So what fields do you need to look at specifically? So when I go into the indexing panel, I see that in a little greater detail. I see that this was a good extraction, so we got all of that. The date of birth, we weren't as confident. It's only 38% confident that we got that right. In fact, we didn't. So the zero blurred out there into that vertical bar. Now, I might be able to do something in my advanced capture project. We have the ability to automatically remove vertical bars, horizontal bars. So I might be able to actually tweak that and tune that to get that to perform a little better. But I can just correct it right here in the interface. And the system is going to record that fact that me, Ron, corrected and verified this value on this date and time. And that information is permanently recorded with that field for this batch so that we can perform some downstream analysis on this information. So, of course, the goal here is to reduce the human touches. And if we have a field or maybe a supplier invoice or maybe some documents that are coming in from a particular place that is always causing problems, our users always have to touch and correct this, maybe we have an opportunity to go back to that source of that content and work with them to maybe clean that up. Maybe we have some things we could do in workflow to clean the images up before they get processed through advanced capture. So having that information is very powerful in order for me to tune the system and get it working, as well as it can. So here you see we've got an OMR, which is the checkbox reading. So we've read that, and we got a great read here on the Colorado driver's license. So now if we refresh, we should see there's the invoice, or I'm sorry, the address change form that we just scanned in, getting some good recognition here from the handwriting. Now, of course, that is completely sensitive to how well the person writes. And if you're really sloppy, you're just going to get poor read rates, and that's kind of just the way that the way it is. So we weren't very confident, but we did get a good read out of that value. We did read that this person, Carol, is not a male, and we got looks like we got the number correct, but the confidence was only 59. So I think this batch profile is set to 70, so it's flagged. But if we set that to 50, this value would have shown up green. So that's just a real quick advanced capture demo, Flex demo. So hopefully that maybe gets the creative juices flowing and gets you thinking about ways that you can use this technology. Okay, so we've gone through the demo, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and open it back up, and I think Carol she's monitoring some of the questions through chat, and we'll see what you guys think about this.
I am, Randy. I've had a few questions, so we'll start with one. Is the ILINX Flex web application cross-platform?
Okay, absolutely. It's cross-platform and works with every popular browser. So Flex will run on Safari, on iOS. It runs on Android. It runs on tablets. Yeah, our goal is to make that accessible basically through any platform that supports a modern browser.
Great, thanks, Randy. We have a couple more questions. One is, could a dashboard show information from our financial system as well as ILINX?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's one of the things that we're really excited about with the dashboards. It's really cool that you can show capture information and statistics and some business information, but we thought it was very important that we also allow you to reach outside of the capture system and pull information in that is periphery to whatever the business process is that you're working on. So if you're doing invoices, AR, POs, whatever you're doing, you can absolutely go out to a financial system, assuming that runs in a relational database, and you can bring information into your dashboard, and you can combine those. So I could have information Maybe I've got an area chart that shows inbound invoices or inbound transactions, and then I've got another set of charts in that same dashboard that show pay states for invoices or rejections from contracts or upcoming renewal dates or whatever it is, coming from those other financial systems, CRM systems, whatever the line of business system is. As long as we can get to it and it's a relational database model, we can include some of that information in the dashboard.
Okay, yeah, we just had an add-on question, which external systems can it get data from, but I think you may have answered that.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to work with you if you've got some questions. You know, we say relational database, but if it's something really, really weird, you know, I can't say that we'd work with every single database out there, but I would think all of the standard ones, you know, Oracle, SQL, MySQL, Postgres, you know, I would think any of the DB2s, stuff like that should be no problem at all.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think she confirmed you answered. So, and then one more. Can I use stamp annotations in Capture?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was there was a couple of features that we added into 8.6 that I think are just really powerful, and that's the document version control. So if I have a Word document or anything, doesn't matter, traveling through my workflow, I can check in and check out that document, and this allows me to facilitate that document approval or document collaboration process through the life cycle. And with images, I can do the same thing, well, not versions, but I can apply living annotations. So one step in my workflow, I could have some annotations applied. That goes downstream, and maybe somebody approves those annotations. Maybe they modify, maybe they remove an annotation or add another annotation. And then at the end of that process, maybe we check in a final version of that as a burned-in PDF or something like that. And yeah, so that's a really powerful feature now available through ILINX Capture.
Great. One more came through, and that is, what types of admin functionality will be available for eForms and workflow via the Flex interface?
That is a good question. I forgot to mention that. So the goal of the Flex client is really to support your end users. So I won't say that we will never have administrative capabilities in Flex, but that's not the focus of the Flex client. It will for the short term remain just an end user capability. So things like designing my workflows, building eForms, building the new dashboard capabilities, setting up security and permissions for my users. For the foreseeable future, those are going to be in the standard Capture and Content Store web applications and not in Flex.
I think that's it. We'll look forward to seeing you on upcoming webinars. We'll certainly let you know about those. And as always, we hope you'll feel free to call us, email us, connect with us on our social media outlets, because we love to hear from you. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.